Hello. So, I apologize. My shirt's a little wet. I just got out of the shower, home from work, but I promised myself I would explain what I posted this morning in a short. So, this man is Henry David Thoreau. And between him and Ralph Waldo Emerson, they were the main drive in the transcendentalist movement in our country. And, I mean, among others, which I went over before, but so I just want to say this. I'm actually going to read. So he was most famous for his book Walden, where let's see. I wonder what year it was. But yeah, he wrote Walden, or Life in the Woods, in 1854. And it says, although he lived his life in relative obscurity, Henry David Thoreau, who was born 1817 to 1862, has come to be considered one of the central figures of American thought and literature. And then his most famous work, Walden, or Life in the Woods, remains an eloquent yet unfulfilled plea for simplicity and deliberateness in everyday life, and continues to haunt those sensible of the distance between ideals and actualities in a materially driven culture. So this author with the note wrote this. So civil disobedience was another one of his most famous essays. Civil disobedience has its background in Thoreau's opposition to the Mexican War, specifically in his one-night imprisonment for refusing to pay his poll tax in protest. So I'm going to read just a little of the beginning of this essay. And I was actually looking at my first post like last October, where I talked about what it means to be an American and whether Americans can find common ground besides just movies and entertainment and all the trash that we're fed every single day. And really, that's why I came up with the transcendentalist idea. It's not an idea, actually. That's to me what it means to be American. Even Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote one of his most famous essays was called Self-Reliance, which I'm going to start getting into one of these times. I don't want to be too sidetracked from the map of consciousness that I'm diving into, because that's vital. But yeah, if you want to know what it means to be an American, you should read Henry David Thoreau, and you should read The Transcendentalists, which I downloaded their booklet that they had going in the 1850s. Yeah, and there's Thomas Paine, his writings. Yeah, these are all radical writings. So, anyways, so this is the beginning. This is Civil Disobedience from Henry David Thoreau. I heartily accept the motto, quote, that government is best which governs least, end quote. And I should like to see it acted up to more rapidly and systematically. I believe Thomas Jefferson wrote that government is best which governs least. Carried out, it finally amounts to this, which also I believe, that government is best which governs not at all, end quote. And when men are prepared for it, that will be the kind of government which they will have. Let me read that again. That government is best which governs not at all. And when men are prepared for it, that will be the kind of government which they will have. When men are prepared for it. Obviously, men and women. But when we're ready for it, when there's a people that are ready for it, that's the kind of government they will have. So if we're really on the cusp of an awakening, an enlightenment in society, then yeah. Government is at best but an expedient. But most governments are usually, and all governments are sometimes, inexpedient. Expedient meaning necessary, I believe. The objections which have been brought against the standing army, and they are many and weighty, and deserve to prevail, may also at last be brought against the standing government. The standing army is only an arm of the standing government. And I like how he put that we've heard about having a standing army. When our government was established, Thomas Jefferson was opposed to there being a standing army. But Thoreau brings to the question, what about a standing government? The government itself, which is only the mode which the people have chosen to execute their will, is equally liable to be abused and perverted before the people can act through it. Witness the present Mexican War, the work of comparatively a few individuals using the standing government as their tool, for in the outset the people would not have consented to this measure. And what can you say about the wars that are happening right now and the billions of dollars that are going toward that? And I'm not going to get political on this, but yeah. And he wrote this about the Mexican War back in... When did he write this? He wrote this in the 1850s. 1849, he wrote Civil Disobedience. And again, this isn't... Disobey just isn't about breaking laws and having anarchy. I don't know, maybe it is. Maybe it is about anarchy. I don't know about breaking rules because, that's a deep dive into why there needs to be government in the first place. Maybe to punish those who do harm to others and reward those who do good to others. Just a thought. So this American government, which is but a tradition, though a recent one, endeavoring to transmit itself unimpaired to posterity, but each instant losing some of its integrity. It has not the vitality and force of a single living man, for a single man can bend it to his will. It is a sort of wooden gun to the people themselves. And if they ever should use it in earnest as a real one against each other, it will surely split. And yeah, the Civil War was brewing at this point. But it is not less necessary for this, for the people must have some complicated machinery or other to hear its din, to satisfy that idea of government which they have. Governments show thus how successfully men can be opposed upon, even impose on themselves for their own advantage. Did you hear that? Governments showed thus how successfully men can be opposed on, even impose on themselves for their own advantage. It is excellent, we must allow, yet this government never of itself furthered any enterprise, but by the alacrity with which it got out of its way. It does not keep the country free. It, meaning the government, does not keep the country free. It does not settle the West. It does not educate. The character inherent in the American people has done all that has been accomplished, and it would have done somewhat more if the government had not sometimes gotten its way. For government is an expedient by which men would feign succeeding in letting one another alone. And as has been said, when it is most expedient, the governed are most let alone by it. Trade and commerce, if they were not made of Indian rubber, would never manage to bounce over the obstacles which legislators are continually putting in their way. And if one were to judge these men wholly by the effects of their actions and not partly by their intentions, they would deserve to be classed and punished with those mischievous persons who put obstructions on the railroads. I don't know. I just wanted to start, and yeah, it's pretty lengthy. He did an essay on slavery in Massachusetts. He did an essay about John Brown and his rebellion. He did an essay about walking, which is interesting. Yeah, so this is just food for thought, and I wanted to explain who this man is. Everyone should know who this man is, but most people, when they see this flyer, yeah, I picked up a few of these flyers at a used bookstore. Most people who see these flyers will have no idea who this man is. But yeah, and tomorrow morning I'll continue on courage. So have a good evening.